Oh, there you are, YouTube. Hey everybody, so today we are going to style my mustache. It's been a while since I've done that, mostly because I've been growing this beard out for my wife. She really likes the beard. She prefers it over just the straight mustache. So, some months ago, a lot of months ago, Savvy Jack, one of my favorite mustache wax companies, they had supplied me with, they sent me some of their test wax for a black pigment wax. And I've been using it. You've probably seen some videos where my mustache is really dark, and that's what we're going to use today, this test wax. And I like it a lot. I like the way the look of the black pigment, how that looks in my mustache. I like how silky the texture is of this. I feel like it's a little bit more silky than the typical wax that I get from them. This is just a regular mustache wax here, kind of like in a chapstick style tube. But this is what we are putting in today. And another nice thing about it is I have some grays that are coming through, and that will cover those up. And I think what's extra neat about it, something that I like, maybe other people would not like, is that I have a lot of gray in my beard as well. So when I have this extremely dark mustache, it creates a nice contrast to the salt and pepper that's happening down here. So yeah, let's take a look, because I've never done this before with this shaggy of a beard. If I have, I don't remember, but we are going to get into it now. So I will show you some of the tools that we are using today. I got this blow dryer here, and then I got this, and this is very dirty. I don't clean it enough, but I have this tiny little mustache and beard comb. I also have this Savvy Jack tomahawk comb. This side is a comb. This side has some, like, I think it was hog bristle, if I remember right. I like this too. And this end right here, you can help to shape the curls, and that's what we're going to do today. We're going to make a handlebar mustache among this beard here. See if we can do it, find a separation point. And then of course that black Savvy Jack wax. This one, they gave me a few different pigment levels, darkness levels, and this one I have not used yet. This was the, I believe, it was either second to darkest or second to lightest. I can't remember, but it's labeled number 2 there. So let's get to styling. So here I am combing my mustache and beard, just getting out any tangles, knots, anything like that. Then I lift up my mustache to try and find the separation point where I want to separate the mustache from the beard, just trying to get a general idea of where I want to do that so that I'm not pulling in, and just kind of finding that separation so I'm not pulling in too much beard into the mustache as I style it. And right now I'm using the blow dryer to warm up the wax, making it easier to apply and to scrape from the tin there. And that's about half of what I will use on each side. I use quite a bit of wax, probably a lot more than most people do. I applied some there to the top, and then underneath where the mustache sort of hangs over my lip, I put some there as well. That's always an important spot to get wax, so that all of that, all the whiskers that hang over your mouth, you want to make sure that those are well coated so that they stay in place, like when you're eating and things like that. So here I'm trying to apply some closer to the corner of my mouth. I always find some spots of separation there between the whiskers, and you get some like negative space there. And I really don't like when that happens, so I'm just trying to, coat the mustache as much as possible in that wax so that all the whiskers stick together and there are no gaps or anything like that. And of course the blow dryer is used here to maintain that softness of the wax so that I can work it into the whiskers. And I'm using it here to soften the wax in that grooming comb that I have. Trying to warm that up
Doing the same thing to my mustache so that all of that loosens up so I can get the comb through my mustache, because again, there is a lot of wax in there at this point. And the blow dryer definitely helps with that, loosening everything up so that the comb can glide easily through the mustache. Also kind of creates some nice comb lines in your mustache as well. I don't usually maintain those in my mustache, but it can be done. I've seen some very dapper looking mustaches that have the comb lines. So now I'm working on the tip of my mustache, trying to get that end to curl. One of the more important things, I think, actually look right there. Those are those gaps I was talking about earlier that I don't like. So I'm going to try and fill those with additional wax. You can see me pull the wax out of the comb and trying to put it in where those gaps are. I really want to fill those so that the hairs stick together. And you got to keep the mustache relatively close to your cheek if you want to close that up. At least I do, because I don't have the thickest mustache. It is relatively thin compared to others out there. But back to the curling, closer to the corner of your lip, right there, that's a very important part to getting that curl, that tight curl. Otherwise, it's going to be a curl that sort of it doesn't have a tightness to it necessarily. It's more just a curve than close to a circle, which is kind of where I'm at right now with that side. And now I'm adding wax to the other side, trying to coat that on top, underneath, and right now I'm working on the tip of the mustache. And then I'm going to want to work that in as much as possible. There you can see I really was trying to focus in that area close to the corner of my mouth so that I don't end up with any gaps in that area. Again, that's just a pet peeve of mine. I try to keep that closed up. There I am again, trying to get it in there. Curling a bit. So here I'm looking to melt the wax in the comb again, just trying to heat it up so I can get the comb through my mustache. I also need to heat it up on my face as well, the wax inside the mustache, just to get that comb to get through. Really trying to press that wax all the way through the mustache so that it gets through all the hairs there. And then drag some of it out towards the tip of the mustache so it's not too caked into the area above my lip, because that can happen too, where it just kind of like sits there in a glob, and that's not something I want either. So trying to work it into the curl area so that I can shape it. We're still in the early stages of shaping, just sort of starting to get the find the curl, but I did notice that the one side has grown out a little bit longer than the other. So that's what I'm doing right now, is sort of measuring each side, noticing one side is longer than the other, and I need to cut it. So I have to grab the scissors and then try and find the spot that has the extra hair there and find the right place to cut it. So I think I've got it here. I do a little snip and then test it out again, shut my eyes so that I can feel it better. And I notice it's still a little long there. So I'm going to have to go back in with the scissors to trim it a little bit more so that both sides are equal in length. Sometimes I do pull out a ruler, or I think I've used my toothbrush before. I've used a pencil just to sort of use that as a gauge of where to choose to clip the the extra length that one side may have over the other. But usually if I just drag my fingers across it, I can find it pretty easily. And then you pinch that section so that you can find your mark on where to snip it. I think we're looking pretty good. Looks nice there. So now, just want to fill in some of those gaps. The extra wax you can see there. I want that shut. So I'm pushing those in. So this type of mustache styling that you're seeing right here, where it's straight, is called an English. And again, eventually I'm looking to moving toward a handlebar. But while making the handlebar earlier, that's when I noticed the length difference on each side. So I use the English style to help find the length that I want each side to be and find the area that I need to trim off. I had a little bit of beard caught in the mustache, so I'm trying to comb it out because I don't want that in there. It can pull and be a little irritating. So here now I'm pulling the Savvy Jack Tomahawk, using that to curl. And this is, I use more just as a starter. You can't really use it as the spot to get the curl that you want, but it does sort of train the hair in a quick manner where to go. It can start that tight curl. And the areas closest to the corners of the lip, that's really where you need to create a lot of the curl if you want it to be tight. If you're not working that area, it won't be a tight curl. So down really close to where the heart of the mustache is, where the corner of your lip is, corner of your mouth, working that area and getting the curve started there, that's where you get a nice circular shape rather than just a curve. And right now it's looking a little choppy. You know, we still got a ways to go. There's a lot of finesse involved. So there you can see in the mirror anyway, it's a little easier to see where I'm trying to get the lower part. I guess I've stopped that and I'm trying to get some hair out of my face. But I am trying to manipulate the lower portion, like right there. I'm moving up, but right down there. What I'm doing right there, I'm really trying to create a bend there close to the corner of my lip. I feel like that's the most important curve right there for the circular shape. And these, I'm not going for super tight curls here, but if I was, that part would be even more crucial. If I wanted like tiny little circles for my handlebar. But here I'm going relatively big, but I want more than just a curved mustache. And then getting each side equal, that's another challenge, to make sure both sides have a similar curl, similar size, shape, circle. That can be a difficult thing to achieve. And then making sure you have the same look of thickness on each side. So pressing, squeezing the mustache so that it widens. You see me smiling right there? What I'm doing there is making sure that when I smile, it doesn't push forward the curls too much. So you do want them to be pointing back a little bit. That's what I'm trying to do there. So that when you do smile at someone, your curls don't move forward. You want them to still see, whoever's looking at you still see circles rather than just a straight line from their point of view. So I always try and make sure to remember to smile when I'm making my handlebars, just to ensure that if people see me smile, they can still see the curls there. It's looking pretty equal. I think we're good.
All right, so I think we got it. What may be surprising is the wax is actually pretty easy to clean. As you can see, I got some prints on there with the black wax, but just toilet paper or a Kleenex takes it off very easily off of anything. The only reason I don't clean is just because I know it's just gonna get dirty again. But you know, sometimes I do have big gaps between mustache curls, mustache stylings, and my wife might want to use this. So I try to clean it in between each one, but I don't always do it. But any sort of tissue, really take care of it pretty easily. Same thing goes for the brushes here, and the combs, covered in wax, and then the handle. If I just, probably not giving you good lighting, but the handle right there, if I want to clean that, you can see all sorts of hairs stuck to it. Again, same thing, just toilet paper or a Kleenex will take that right off very easily. What gets a little more difficult is the wax in between, but do you remember the tomahawk right here? The boar bristle, you use that. Well, if I were to heat this up and then take the boar bristle to it, it would help clean that out. But when it comes to this one, I just kind of have to melt it out because I don't have another boar bristle to get that gunk out that you're seeing right there. But it's never too bad. The only reason I don't like to use toilet paper or Kleenex for that area is just because it can leave some of that residue behind. So if I go to use this next time and I'm brushing and I didn't get all of the Kleenex out, it'll end up in my mustache. Kleenex is also the best way to get the wax off of your fingers as well. I think that works better than anything else. The water, if you wash your hands first, that'll just bead right off. So get as much excess wax off with Kleenex or toilet paper, tissue paper, whatever you call that stuff. Do that first and then go in for the hand wash, and then everything will be clean. Another thing that I do when I sleep with this in, because I don't take the wax out at night, I will wrap my pillow in a towel or an old t-shirt. That way when I'm sleeping, any pigment will get on the t-shirt or towel rather than the pillowcase. Personally, I love the dark pigment, that black wax, because it just creates a better contrast, I think, between my face and the mustache and the beard. You know, I have my natural brown here, but also the grays that are there, but then this really pops, so it doesn't really get lost anywhere. Because sometimes if you have a mustache and a beard at the same time, the mustache can get a little bit lost. But here with the black wax, it's saying, here I am. I would say that the biggest difficulty when styling a mustache with wax when you have a beard is finding that separation point right here. Like this, it's like, does this hair go in with the mustache or does it stay out? But it wasn't too big of an issue. I kept worrying about these longer beard hairs getting caught. That did happen occasionally. Honestly, the worst part was when I had a piece of my own hair up top fall into my mustache, and that was kind of bugging me a little bit. But it wasn't as complicated as I was expecting. I know I have styled a mustache before with a beard, but never one this big, but it didn't seem to pose too big of a problem. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and perhaps we'll see you tomorrow for more Pure Hangout.